Tamara Tetmu here. Welcome back to another episode of Unleashed Alchemy. On this channel, we always talk about stepping into our sovereignty so that we can bring the unseen into the seen. Okay? Listen, this is part 4 of our conversation around chaotic energy and how to harness it and not be consumed by it. Okay? We weren't designed to be consumed by it. We were designed to harness it and use it for our benefit. So in this last part, we're going to focus on emotional grounding while we harness chaotic energy and what that looks like. What does emotional grounding look like? So it looks like this: acknowledging when chaos energy feels too overwhelming and disruptive. Let me give you an example. If there is something taking place in your life and you're really saying, I don't know what's happening. I feel like I'm getting ready to tip over. I feel like I'm getting ready to, like I'm being pushed over an edge. I need somebody to talk to. I need support in this. That is the most emotional, accountable, emotionally stable thing, emotionally grounding thing that you can do for yourself. That is one of the most mature things that you can do for yourself. Even when you're looking at something that is happening around you and you're saying, I feel frozen in fear and I am not sure, I'm feeling unsure of how to break out of this. I need some support. That is one of the most powerful things that you can do for yourself. That is what acknowledging when chaos energy is too overwhelming and disruptive. Acknowledging that has nothing to do with how you see other people responding or what you see other people doing or not doing. This has nothing to do with you telling yourself how you should respond or not respond. This has nothing to do with your strength level. Let me go on. It is okay to say in this moment, I don't feel like I want to do anything. It's okay to actually say, I need someone to support me because I feel too close to the situation. Things seem too blurry. I feel as though I cannot think straight or see straight. That is how you acknowledge when chaos feels too disruptive and too overwhelming. So, this chaos feels like it's overcoming me instead of me overcoming it. When you don't acknowledge that, that is where desperation can become an issue. This is where desperation can become a destructive driving force. That's not at all what we want. That is being consumed by chaos. Here's what you have to remember. Chaos is untapped, raw energy for spiritual elevation that will manifest in your physical life. I'll repeat this. Chaos is untapped, raw energy for your spiritual elevation that will manifest in your physical life. So when you learn, like what we have done over the last 4 episodes, this is the fourth one about chaotic energy. When you learn to see chaos in that way, you continue to explore amazing pathways that lead to you living in a more sovereign way, in a more liberated way, in a way where every single day you're unleashing your power, you're unleashing your magic, you're unleashing your spiritual gifts, and you are unleashing your alchemy. There's a reason why this channel is called Unleashing Your Alchemy. And learning how to harness chaotic energy is a part of that. So let's do a review over the last 4 episodes and what we've been talking about. Let's go back. We talked about what chaotic energy is, and I used the example, the illustration of the winemaking process. That was a brilliant example, okay? I gave you techniques in the second episode for channeling chaos. In the third episode, we talked about how this applies to your everyday life. And so in this last episode, we've talked about how to be emotionally grounded when you are faced with chaotic energy. And the main thing that I want you to take away from this last thing is to acknowledge when the chaotic energy is too overwhelming and disruptive. That is very important for you to do that. So if we talk about anger again, if we talk about our emotions again and how that is an example of raw chaotic energy, when you feel angry and it starts to feel overwhelming and feel too disruptive, it's important for you to stop and say, wait, I can't do anything with this because this feels too much. It is important for you to acknowledge that. That is part of grounding. So if you do need to go and talk to someone, if you do need to go to therapy, that is grounding. And let me say this. Going to a therapist does not diminish who you are as a spiritual being. It does not diminish who you are as a sovereign being. Going to talk to someone does not diminish who you are as a sovereign being. It does not diminish who you are as an elevated being. It means you are in touch with your body and with your emotions. Not only are you still sovereign, but now, because you have acknowledged when something is too disruptive and too overwhelming, now you can go internally and you can tap in to your goddess. You can tap into the God within you, and you can ask to be led to the right therapist, to the right coach, to the right spiritual practitioner, to the right metaphysician that can support you. That is that person who is soul aligned for you to work with, that can guide you, that can guide you to your highest potential, that can work with you as you use and harness chaotic energy, that can get you stable, help you get stable again, so that you can stand in full power using and harnessing chaotic energy, chaos energy to your benefit. Does that make sense? Okay, so That is the last episode of our discussion, well, for now, of our discussion around chaotic energy. If you want support from me on your spiritual odyssey, whether you were talking about chaotic energy or whether you are wanting to completely break away from programming, you just want more support in how to integrate your spiritual life into your everyday life, go to unleashedalchemy.com. There are several ways that you can work with me. There's my Unleashed Alchemy Magic School, which is a monthly membership. I go live every month in there. There's over 20 hours of workshops that you can access in your own time. There are energetic readings. There are rituals that you can add to your spiritual bag to support you on your spiritual path. You can work with me through a 12-session package. You can work with me by doing a one-time session that's 75 minutes. All right. You decide what's going to work for you. Unleashedalchemy.com. And until next time, cheers.